the interest of time, I'm going to limit also the number of members that we're going to allow for clarification to 4. I'll ask you, Senator Joe Newton. And the time with which you can take is 2 minutes maximum.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I will actually spend less than even the 2 minutes that you have given me. I may need a clarification, Mr. Speaker, from the witness and his side. Who commands the county enforcement officers in Kisii County? Because, Mr. Speaker, I ask that because there is an allegation that the Deputy Governor has been misusing these particular officers. Number 2, Mr. Speaker, the Deputy Governor has been accused, and we have seen, we have viewed several videos, Mr. Speaker, of soliciting for bribes in order for him to influence the issuance of bursaries in the county, Mr. Speaker. So would the witness tell us or tell this House what role the Deputy Governor plays in the giving of bursaries in Kisii County, Mr. Speaker? And finally, Mr. Speaker, I don't know whether this will be appropriate, but let me, finally, Mr. Speaker, apart from the video that has been replayed for the second time, Mr. Speaker, we observed that the other clips that were played showed people, did not show other attendees of the public participation functions, Mr. Speaker, and I think that is one thing that we would also want the witness to clarify. If you allow me to ask...
Senator Newton, you have asked 3 questions.
Take your seat. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Kindly respond to those questions.
The person who commands the enforcement officers at the Kisii County government is the director in charge of enforcement. The second question was about the issue about surrounding the county, the bursary. Actually, for the information, for purposes of record, and to inform this Honorable House, we have a special kitty for scholarship, whereby the needy, especially those who come from challenged financial backgrounds, are identified and then forwarded for purposes of being given these scholarships. So in the process, these scholarships are being offered by the office of the governor, and in the process, the deputy governor is involved. And the last one is the question that most of the clips that have been played are just not showing the backgrounds. And actually that one, I think those who were the answer and department communication of the Kisii County Assembly was maybe mainly focusing on the speakers and forgot also to focus on the background.
Senator SIFUNA.
Mr. Speaker, allow me to get some clarity from Counsel for the Defense. Other than the date on page 137, which is the Hansard report, is it the contention of the defense, the Counsel for Governor, that this document is not a true reflection of what happened in the Assembly on the 29th of February 2024? Secondly, Mr. Speaker, on the same document I can see references at page 211 and 217 to KATWA KIGEN, the same lawyer appearing before us. If he was present in the House, then he can clear one thing that I want to ask him. Mr. Speaker, he has told us here that the evidence of a non-gambler, somebody who participates in sports betting, is something to be taken with some circumspection. Let me put the question. Yes, at page 217 of the Hansard, I want to know if it is true this is what KATWA KIGEN said. There's a paragraph at the top there where he says, or is reported to have been saying, Honorable members, I pray that you do take this view that a question of bribery is a question of choosing who to believe. Do you want to believe a 68-year-old retired man who has been friends with Dr. Monda for 32 years and saying this is not a bribe, or a young gentleman who is saying it is a bribe? I want KATWA KIGEN to clarify whether indeed the evidence of a young man should also be taken with the same circumspection that he claims evidence from a gambler should be taken. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senior Counsel KATWA KIGEN, respond to those questions by Senator SIFUNA.
My point, Honorable Senate, is that the Hansard has been manipulated. It is not an accurate representation of what happened in terms of if the events resulting in the adjournment were events of 21st, and I think it's actually supposed to have been 21st. Why would the report be headed the date of the argument, the defense, and the voting, when indeed it didn't happen on that date? All I'm saying is that when you look at that Hansard, it should enrich our argument that there is a certain strong force within the Assembly incorporating my good friend Honorable Siocha, who are very determined to have the Deputy Governor impeached and are prepared to manage the answer, because the answer is supposed to speak for itself. It's not supposed to be a document that you would come and say it has typographical errors. All I'm saying is that we have concerns about the way the answer was reported, and that is part of the malice against the Deputy Governor. On the issue of the arguments I made at page 217, I stand by them, and I intend to make the same arguments at the end of these proceedings. To say here is Mr. and Mrs. Misati. Mr. Misati is 68-year-old, and his son is 37 years old. This is not a case where anybody is coming to say there was a money, there was a forgery of a document. This is not a documentary evidence. This is a question of one word against the other. And what I was trying to tell the Assembly, and I'll be requesting this Senate to do, is to say to the extent to which this case entirely rests on whom to believe, we will pray that you choose to believe the father who is 68-year-old together with his wife, vis-a-vis what the son is saying. More so when it is aggravated by the point that the son says he was not present when the discussions were had and cannot say for a fact whether or not the money was discussed as being a bribe